Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week with D.B.K. Casefiles with Doc and Wild Bill.
Hello.
And this is part three of discussing about D.B.K. case files we've been on.
Personal experiences.
Because
the last episode ended on me talking about a personal experience, which we are like expanding on like now.
So
by the time you are listening to this podcast, it'll be about 3 days before my 47th birthday. So, I will say that, this episode is airing on April 23rd. So I want to give a shout out to my friend, Jeff Manning. Happy birthday, bro. I hope you are doing well. And I hope that, you have a good birthday. I don't know if you're ever going to hear this podcast or if you are into the paranormal, but, let it be known that Wild Bill sent a very happy birthday wish to his buddy Jeff Manning. Cheers, buddy.
Yes, by the time everybody else hears this, Wild will be the Kentucky branch at D.B.K. Case Files. D.B.K. Investigations.
Indeed. I will be in another state altogether. So
another state of mind. Anyway, you were talking about demons.
Yes. In last episode, I was discussing demons and how I thought that people who claimed demonic possessions were off their rockers, and there was probably some sort of a psychosis attached to them until I had an experience myself. In the previous 2 episodes, I have discussed that I have Christian values, I have Christian beliefs, I am a Bible believer. So that kind of falls into this experience. I had just come home. So backtrack. I think I was in my mid-20s. I can't remember if I quit drinking yet or not. I quit drinking at the age of 25. I'll be 47 here soon. So you do the math. I will have 22 years of sobriety in August. Actually, on Kayla's birthday is my sobriety date. With that said, I had a really good night at church. Midweek church. It was either Wednesday or Thursday nights. I can't remember which. I think they were Thursday nights back then. Sorry. And I had a really good positive experience that night. I'm like really feeling jazzed up, and after we did the church thing, we usually went to a local restaurant called Gustav's, awesome German food, or we went to like Red Robin or some other place. At any rate, I come home. It's kind of late. I was living at my mom's out in rural country, and I just got settled into bed, and I'm just kind of feeling a little jazzed, and I'm trying to go to sleep. So I wasn't able to go to sleep because I started feeling a lot of anxiety, and I kind of felt like my right around my chest, really, after a while, I'm hearing my elevated heart rate. I'm hearing me breathing heavy, and I'm feeling just whatever it was. And sometimes if a person is spiritually attuned, they can see things with what I call their mind's eye. That's not to say they're having a hallucination, because I don't feel like I did have a hallucination. But I do recall having a very keen sense of a presence there. Multiple presences, actually. And I had this very keen sense of what appeared to be demons throwing darts or daggers at me. And where it was hitting me, it was causing me to be anxious, to be, get worked up. So that happened for a while, and then I finally again, I'm, jazzed up. I'm jazzed on the Lord, man. I just been, I had a very positive church experience. So I'm just like, and I remember, is that all you got? Really? Is that all you got? I mean, like, so what are you gonna, like, give me a heart attack here in the middle of the night? Well, I guess that would completely, totally debunk what a friend of mine had said that a demon or Satan can't physically kill you. And I'm like, well, if I have a heart attack in the middle of the night, I guess he could, but we'll see about that. At any rate, I said, if that's all you got, you might as well pack it up and go home because you ain't getting to me. You ain't getting to me tonight, fellas. I'm too jazzed on the Lord here. This ain't happening. And then I felt another presence, and this one was bigger and greater, and like you could tell that this guy commanded a lot more respect.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Satan himself, but to me, it kind of certainly seemed like it was. And in my mind's eye, because I didn't dare open my eyes and see if they were physically there, because that just scared the shit out of me. You're gonna have to mark this as explicit again, because it's true. Like I kept my eyes shut because I out of fear that if I saw them, I would physically freak.
Right.
And but I could see him with my mind's eye, and it's like this guy just kind of like he's pushing these guys aside, like this one's mine. It's like you just bit off more than you could chew, boy. And I'm like, all right, bring it on. And he's got these big daggers, right? And he's tossing them,
Right.
And again, I could feel the heart just pounding on my chest. I mean, I literally feel pounding on my chest. It's beating so hard. I hear myself breathing really hard. And, several minutes of that happening, and I was, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have a church moment here. So I was like, I'm done with this. I'm so done with this. And in fact, I even told this guy, I'm like, you ain't getting me. You're not breaking me. You might as well just pack it up and go. Just go now. Pack it up. And he's like, now he's, two-fisting it, two-handing it, tossing, and it's just really pounding me. And so finally I was like, I'm done here. And of course, I do what every Christian should do. I pray to the Lord. And I said, God, this guy's bothering me. Would you be so kind as to send some angels down and kindly take care of the riffraff here? I would really appreciate it. No sooner than the prayer had gone out than I felt the presence of angels. 2-to-1 ratio, right? So I do believe there were like 5 of these demons. So there was 10 angels. And in my mind's eye, I am watching 2 angels to every demon, and they are kicking the snot out of them, right? Like, I kind of had this impression of it's probably not right, but I mean, it whatever. Angel on one side's got one side of the demon by the arms, angel on the other got the other, and they're taking turns, kicking this demon in the torso, in the gut, and
Right.
they're just tagging them, right? And that was going all around. And finally, these demons they were done. And even the big guy, if it was Satan, I don't know, but if it was Satan, I'm sure that must have been Archangel Michael himself that kind of thumped him. But he got these demons got, they definitely got their noses bloody, and proverbially speaking, and they were, they were sent packing.
Right.
And, and in my mind's eye, I see these angels kind of like dust themselves off, like, our work here is done. And they're about to take off. And then I said, I'm like, okay, this is really cool. This is a really cool experience in any Christian's faith to be like, to have a tangible thing like that, and to really see a miracle of God. So and that's kind of how I saw it, was like, I made a request, it was fulfilled. I asked that this demonic threat be taken care of. It was taken care of immediately, and these angels are about to leave. And so I said another prayer and I said, Lord, they may come back while I'm asleep. Could I ask you to at least leave 4 angels behind to stand guard over me, to sit at all 4 points of the compass? And there was one angel that I saw specifically in my mind's eye, that he was at the foot of the bed. And as soon as I made the request, he didn't say anything to me, but he turned to me and he looked at me and he nodded. And he's like, we've got you tonight, And so, go to sleep. He wordlessly said, go to sleep. We got you.
Right.
So, all 4 foot of the bed, at the head of the bed, both sides of the bed, all 4 angels turned their back to me, and they're facing outward. They stayed there, presumably all night,
right,
because that's what I asked for. And as soon as I saw that angel turn to me and nod his head, I was out like a light. And it was probably the best sleep I'd ever had in my whole life. And I felt like $1 million when I got up the next day, because I had known, I had seen, I had felt that my faith was validated in what I believed to be true. It was validated. And so that was my experience. I had an experience with both angels and demons.
right.
And it was a pretty cool experience. I told my mom about it, like years later, just a few years ago, and she kind of looked at me and rolled her eyes like, okay, nut job. And like, so I really don't tell a whole lot of people about it, because, I get that reaction, especially those who are non-believers. They really tend to be judgmental like that. But I have, over the years, I have learned to, like, when people talk about being demonically possessed or being demonically harassed, it's like, I don't take that skeptic approach to them, because I've been there.
Right.
And I guess that's the only time where I'm not a skeptic, is because I do believe that Satan does work that way. He works to hurt people, to turn them away from God. And so that's kind of like my little bit on that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a complete skeptic.
Oh.
I'm not one of those guys like demons, angels, ghosts, goblins, ghouls, what have you. They don't exist. Cryptics, they don't exist. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that I am a healthy skeptic, and I look for the evidence. And when I feel something tangible, then I give it credence. So when someone has someone talks very candidly about this kind of a situation, I'm more prone to listen.
Right.
There's another thing I've never really told you about, is that I've always had the ability to, how do I put it? I know that you have an extra sense when you and Kayla were getting your pre-wedding pictures taken. We took you, my soon-to-be ex-wife and I took you down to the McLaughlin house.
Right.
And you looked up in a window, and you described John McLaughlin to me, and you're like, this guy is staring at me. And I'm like, okay, well, what does he look like? And we took you a couple blocks over, and I pointed at this mural painting on the side of the Catholic church there, and I said, well, does he look like that guy? And he's like, you said that's exactly who he looks like. I'm like, and you're like, who is that? I'm like, that's Dr. John McLaughlin. That's the guy who was instrumental in the settlers getting settled in here in the Oregon Territory. He was a friend to the Native Americans. He was actually a British citizen, because he was from Canada.
Yeah.
And he worked for the Hudson Bay Company until they fired him. But because of his work of working with both natives and settlers, he was given U.S. citizenship about 10 years before he passed. So, like, I didn't see it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But where I was getting at is, like, I have a similar sixth sense like that. I don't see spirits. What I do is I do have this gift of being able to sense certain spirits about a person.
Right.
Demonic, what have you. A spirit of... I pick up on a spirit of oppression. With my alcoholism, and maybe that's kind of maybe more sensitive to it, but I definitely can pick up a spirit of addiction in someone.
Right.
Like, I've had it happen where I'm walking along the street and whether it's a homeless guy or somebody else walks right past me and it's like big red flag just went up and I'm just like, whoa,
Yeah.
I'm picking up on their aura, I'm picking up on that vibe, I'm picking up on whatever, and I'm like, ooh, that guy's afflicted with some form of an addiction. And being someone that has dealt with addiction, in my personal life, I'm sensitive to that. So,
Right.
I got to, not that I've ever really done anything with it, but I mean, I pick up on things like that. And so going with, people who claim, demonic possession or, I don't ever dispute that. I never call them crazy crankpots ever again because it's, I've been there.
Speaking about alcohol, little divergent. So this past October, we were down at the Klondike. They opened it up. They did public tours through there.
Mm-hmm.
The bad thing is we only got the last 20 minutes.
I would love to have been down there
out of an hour tour, we got 20 minutes to do our bit.
And that's not nearly enough time to...
Well, we were running 2 shows a night, so we were stuck in the basement all night long. So in between all the groups, we're doing more stuff. So downstairs in the bottom, the basement, it's a dirt floor. And there's everyone I've ever talked to that has ever worked at the Klondike, my brother included, have all said, we don't like this one room that's off to the side. Mm-hmm. It's called the abortion room.
Okay.
Now, this kind of goes back to the point of some legends actually have some truth to the matter. So for a while there, nobody's saying, oh yeah, there's prostitution in St. Helens. Well, St. Helens was a mill town. It was a port town.
Yeah.
Come to find out, there was a bathhouse with prostitutes behind the Klondike. Now, the abortion room, when we were working down there, the abortion room was 47 degrees.
Okay.
The rest of the basement was 67 degrees. It's all connected. It's all walled in. There's no reason for that room to be 47 degrees if it's 67 everywhere else.
Right.
So we're down there. And I really wish you would have been there because this was great. We found a man spirit, I don't remember offhand, I think we called it Fred or Frank or something like that. It was started with an F. But we were trying to communicate with the woman who haunts downstairs.
Okay.
Because everybody has said that they hear a woman's voice, they've seen a woman downstairs that's crying looking for her baby.
Okay.
What the legend...
So presumably it's someone who has regret over aborting her child?
Well, the legend is one of the ladies of the night, the working women, was in love with one of her customers. Got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to have the child and wanted to move away with him. Wanted to get the hell out of here and out of the business.
Okay.
He found out she got pregnant, didn't want it, left. She got the abortion because now she kind of got pressured into it. This is the legend.
Okay.
We haven't found any facts on this yet. Well, she got an abortion thinking that he would stay. He didn't. Mm-hmm. Story goes, she committed suicide. So distraught. She lost a man, lost a baby. That's all she wanted to do was have a baby. Love the man. She's got nothing now.
Okay.
Kills herself. Commits suicide. And now she haunts the downstairs area looking for her baby. So we're downstairs. We're trying to communicate with this woman. We are doing everything in our power. The one time we were there, we actually saw a little child that was upstairs. His name is Paul. And some of the feeling a lot of people were getting was that he was playing around the shipyard when he shouldn't have been playing around the shipyard, slipped and fell, and did not know that he was passed. Again, we don't have anything hardcore proof on this, but people have seen him. I saw the kid. They've heard him. But then you got the angry man, Frank. So we're at the bar area.
Is that the same Frank that was...
Different Frank.
Okay.
Two different Franks. This one is an alcoholic. And as long as the Klondike's been standing, people come in the morning and they find shot glasses on the floor busted.
Okay.
So as we're doing our investigation for the shoestring players, we're getting this angry, bitter man. And he's just...
And it's not the same guy we were dealing with when we did that shoestring investigation?
No. The shoestring at the Masonic Hall, he was a nice guy. He actually died...
The bully is what I was referring to.
Oh, no, the bully was...
It wasn't the same guy?
Scott or Jake or something like that. It was a different guy altogether. The guy we're dealing with at the Klondike is bitching a fit that he doesn't have his alcohol. So they had to open it up for the restaurant.
We're going to have to label this one explicit, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's a running gag now.
Oh, yeah. It's always going to be marked explicit. I want everyone to have freedom of whatever they want to say. But anyway, so we're down there, and it was the week before we stopped in to have lunch and do a little walkthrough with the current owner.
Yeah.
And I happen to look over the bar, and out of the corner of my eye, I see an older gentleman leaning up against the bar. And he's just pissed off, staring in the mirror, kind of looking around. And it's just out of my peripheral. And then, I get a full-on look. There's nobody there. So we started doing the investigations. We're downstairs. Spirit box is going. We get this old man's voice. Gruff. Angry.
Yeah.
Kind of a Midwestern accent to him. Because a lot of people were coming in and out to work.
Yeah.
You got
Makes
the
sense.
shipyards, the lumber yard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goods coming in and
Portland
going.
was becoming a bustling town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is before all the docks burned down.
Okay.
So we're getting stuff like, he didn't deserve to die. We figure that everything that we were getting,
kind of a woe is me bit. Woe is me. You need to feel sorry for me because
he just wanted to work.
Yeah.
And he pushed too many other people's buttons. He didn't care.
Yeah, but it's someone off him?
Somebody offed him.
Okay.
So we're down there, and we got the spirit box going. We got 15 minutes in between groups where this guy, this Frank, is just screaming and yelling, and the box will not shut up. And it's just solid. 15 minutes. Fuck you. Give me something to drink. Go to hell. And I start arguing with him. Well, while the show organizer was down there videotaping all this, I was keeping it very calm and professional. She stops videotaping. She leaves. We're waiting on the next group. It's getting more and more confrontational with me.
Okay.
And I'm being influenced at this point. My mental barricades are broken down. I'm now getting yelled. I'm yelling at it. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. You don't get shit. We don't want to talk to you. You need to go away. We want to talk to the woman or the child. We don't want to talk to you. So the next group comes down, and we're still getting alcohol. Give me a shot. Give me a drink. The tour guide comes down, and I'm like, all right, listen, you talk to the box. I gotta talk to this over here. So I go over there, talking, explaining the history of the whole place. I notice the tour guide disappear.
Spirit scared the shit out of him?
I'm getting there. Everything goes quiet. He's gone. About a minute after he's gone, everything goes quiet. We don't hear jack out of the box. Nothing. He comes back down, and he's staring at the box. He moves the crowd out. He goes, how long has the box been quiet? Like about 3-4 minutes. Why? He's like, well, you were over there talking about the history of the place and all the spirits and everything else. I asked the box what it wanted. And it said very clearly, I want a shot of Jack and a shot of vodka. The tour guy went up, had a shot of vodka and Jack, poured and left on the bar.
Okay.
Everything shut up.
Wow.
So we go back up there, and I'm like...
Now, it'd be really impressive if those said shots had disappeared.
Well, technically speaking, the shots had disappeared because the other bartender decided he was going to drink them. It was, midnight. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? No, you need to pour new ones and just leave them. I talked to the owner. I said, listen, have they been leaving the 2 shots on the bar at night? And he said, yeah. Have you had any more broken glasses when you come in the morning? He goes, no. As long as we leave the 2 shots, we have no broken glasses.
So, basically, what you told the owner was, give up 2 shots a night, and you will have no more broken glasses.
Exactly.
So when they come in, no broken glasses, but the shots are still there.
The shots are still there.
The physical liquid is still there.
The physical liquid is still there. They got to dump it out.
Or drink it. I mean, why let it go to waste?
Either or.
Wow. Bad. No. Bad.
But no, the Klondike investigation was, guaranteed. We only had 20 minutes each time. But that was one that we wish you had been there because it was...
That would have been fun.
It was the little things. Like, there was a fly trap hanging from the ceiling. One of those little bags.
Yeah.
Well, after a while, the room would get really, really cold. We've got a packed house.
Yeah.
Theoretically, the body heat should be
warming it up. Yeah.
But it would drop from 67 to 57.
Okay.
And this little fly bag would start spinning out of control. One direction. Now, normally, if it's on a cord, it's only going to go so far, and then it's going to go backwards.
Right.
This thing kept going one direction. And then it would stop. And then it would keep going the same direction. It was crazy.
Wow.
But that was a case that we wish you were there.
Well, I wish I were at all the cases, really. It's...
Well, the Ghost Conference one, we had a couple quiet nights. We had some good groups, we had one group that was really not a good group.
They were in it for the entertainment value? Because I remember a couple times when we did them, we never promised that they were going to see anything. We always said there's a potential to see something. And then I do remember one time where one of the, and it may have been that same group with that drunk lady and her friends, where some folks were disappointed that it was pretty quiet, and it's like, well, they almost felt like they didn't get their money's worth. Yeah. And it's like, well, we're not here to provide entertainment. Well, we're here to provide you an actual honest investigation.
The crazy thing about this year's Ghost Conference, the groups that we had normally brought their own gear. The second night, I had a group. They had backpacks that they would just take off, sit on a table, and start pulling out all kinds of gear. I just gave my guys the spirit box, a speaker, and the K2, just this real simple little meter that goes, up the red, back down the green. I just we're just going to pack light. We're not going to pack a lot of stuff. People were coming in with their own stuff. I'm like, wow. All right. Generally,
these are more than just casual enthusiasts. They're really invested in the
but they were doing their own
in
investigation.
the phenomenon. Yeah, nice.
Except for the Friday night where Michael had the very toxic Zach Baggins wannabe who came in and was, and I got to apologize to Michael because we had Misha drop out because of work a week before. I put the call out there. I said, listen, I need a fourth person for this because we were apparently close to selling out, which people didn't show up. Michael steps up and says, I'll do it. We have not trained him on anything. We have not gone over anything. That was day of. Bring him to the hotel room, walk through all the equipment, show him how to do it.
Right.
And his first night, he gets the Zach Baggins wannabe that's just going to go in there, rude, crude, calling out the ghosts.
So shit that I would do.
Oh, no, it was far worse. It was far, far, far worse. I mean, there's calling out in a, hey, why don't you come over here and talk to me? And then there's antagonizing and poking the bear. And, oh, this is a demon bathroom? Well, come on over here and touch me a few times. The annoying.
Well, I mean, and you've had me intentionally antagonized a time or two, but it was we only went to a certain point. We didn't.
There was a certain point, and the spirit box. Who do you think this is? Well, fuck you. Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. Right. It's like, so when I was telling you about that experience with the. I can't say it was a demonic possession, but it was a harassment for sure. I remember telling one of my friends about it. Another Bible-believing friend, and he was like, you dumbass, you don't ever attempt, what were you thinking? You don't ever provoke a demon. You don't provoke Satan. You don't do this, that, or the other. You just don't do that. If they're harassing you, whatever, you just call in the big guns. You let the Lord take care of it. I'm like, okay, well, I was, whatever. But, there's some wisdom in that. Clearly you don't want to, if there is a truly bona fide, spiritual entity there, I think the last thing you really want to do is to provoke it to anger.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
because there's you don't know. So for me, it's I felt something physically tangible, right? I mean, I felt my heart racing.
Yeah.
Right? This dude was trying to give me a coronary.
Yeah. Well, the Klondike one, Frank, the angry drunk,
it breaks, shot glasses that aren't laid out for him.
He got to me,
right,
where I was affected. He got to James the next night, where James was sitting there telling it, "Fuck you! No, come here and tell that to my face." I mean, we kind of got a little bit out of who we are.
So it got under your skin.
It got under her skin. It affected Kayla a little bit, where she was a little rude and crude and mean. And then Aaron was like, oh, no, I wasn't affected at all, until the next day he was driving somewhere and he was just getting angry and yelling at people on the road and, road rage. And he's like, this isn't me.
Wow.
I'm like, I think it's because of the fact we were in the basement for so long, we got saturated.
Yeah.
We kind of just let our guard down a little bit.
Well, it's true that in here in our daily lives, if you're surrounded by negativity long enough, you're going to start embodying that. You're going to start, it's going to start permeating in you, and you're going to, unless you're a beacon of, sunshine and rainbows and nothing affects you, but, positive vibes affect people positively. Negative vibes affect people negatively. I mean, I think that's just as true in here in the living world as it is, dare I say, in the beyond.
Yeah.
Whatever it is out there. Again, because I'll say that while yes, I am a healthy skeptic, I freely admit there have been situations and certain things where I have no explanation for. I cannot explain, what I heard, a physical voice on an EVP that wasn't there when we had this conversation. You know,
Yeah.
we're all talking amongst ourselves, and then here's this voice of, you know, sounded like elderly, you know, my age now, you know,
Yeah.
you know, it sounded, not that I'm saying I'm elderly, but I'm, wow, that's, but it was a tangible voice that we didn't hear because, you know, we knew who all was talking. We all, you know, we remember, you know, we're all replaying that conversation in our mind, and we're looking at the people as we hear their voices on the EVP, and then, hey, you know, Aaron says, "Would you like to say something?" And I don't remember what it is that they said, but it was very tangible, and Aaron just kind of looks at me with glee in his eyes. He's like, "Bill, do you care to explain this?" And I'm like, I can't.
I think you were also there at City Hall when we got the woman's voice in the old bank, where we said, "We're allowed to be here," and the voice said, "I guess so." What? No, whatever. I guess so.
Yeah.
And then we put it together that where we were standing when we got that EVP was the old bank, and we were behind where the bank tellers were. Because we were right next to the old safe.
Yeah. I think I had Lizzie with me that night.
I think you did, but she was over in the other room.
Which was fine because, you know, she was quick to say, "Oh, that's fake, that's fake, that's fake." And then on the ride home, I chastised her, and I'm like, "You don't do that. You know, you don't come into somebody's investigation as a guest and then insult what they're doing. You know, they've never said you have to absolutely believe because they know I don't absolutely believe.
Well,
but I respect the methods and I respect the people, and even like we've had multiple occurrences, you know, in investigations where we just did not see eye to eye, and I would just say, "I'm not seeing this." You know,
Well,
and you're like, "How can you be so obtuse? It's plain as day. It's right there." And I'm like, "Because what you're seeing is not what I'm seeing."
But see, that's the thing is we can agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
Because as we've said in, I think, one of the other bits of our podcast here is it's not our job to make you believe or disbelieve.
Sure.
It is simply our job to gather the evidence.
And roll it out there and let you decide.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, and so that's what kind of drew me to it was I could still play the healthy skeptic. I mean, because like we're not a gimmick, so.
Well, I mean,
I could be a gimmick and be like, "No, that's crap, you know, and then be like, "Okay, but all that does is that just causes tension."
Yes,
you know,
but
it doesn't help to.
On the other hand, there have been moments when some of us have gotten excited about an investigation and a little bit of evidence, and we turn that around, and when you actually replay it, it actually was nothing paranormal.
Yeah.
I mean, we had we had the City Hall. We had a girl laughing, and we all got excited about it. And then we decided, oh, wait a minute. You look back on the video, and yeah, one of our other guests had come in the room, and she was laughing too, but we didn't see that she was there. So it's like, oh, well, that laugh we got to debunk.
Yeah, that was the other girl that was there.
Yeah,
and her and Lizzie kind of got along there, and yeah. So like we're going through this, and it wasn't until I think I heard Lizzie's laugh in there too. I'm like, sorry, that's
yeah. And then there was the door. We were all upstairs, and we heard a door open, and my brother's yelling at me about, "There's a door moving! Oh my God!" And we're flying all over the place, and then we get a text message that it's my sister-in-law's coworker who had came to visit us because she had left something in her office that was upstairs.
Yeah,
and she was leaving doors.
Yeah.
So sometimes, yes, it is nice to have someone who can put a hole in a theory and say, "No, guys, this is what it is." But as you said before, there have been cases where you even have no explanation.
Right. I can't explain it. And no way, no how. I cannot explain it. And it's kind of exciting too, because it's like, oh, I can't explain. Well, okay, then you know, if you're keeping an open mind, and it's like, okay, well, I was always like, okay, I just don't know, and just left it at that.
Well, everybody, that does it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Wild Bill for sitting in for the last couple podcasts.
I was happy to be here. So happy to be here. I wish I had been able to participate in more of these.
Well, then, hopefully I'll get the laptop fixed so we can actually have you call in.
That would be something.
And do them a little bit more live while you're in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky!
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
We won't be playing any banjos or anything like that, so it'll be all right.
So, everybody, thank you very much. We will see you next week.
Auf Wiedersehen.